Hold On Tickets is back for another series. I'm excited. Group 1 action, Lammy. What do we expect?
Self Trumpeter's is back, and we've got a big name getting the 3 votes this week. We also look at the group races in Sydney and the Carlyon Stakes at the Valley.
And I'm asking the boys plenty of questions of what they can look forward to this spring.
Tune in. Hold On Tickets. Looking forward to it. Welcome to another season of Hold All Tickets. It's exciting. Group 1 action is back for the spring up in Sydney for the Winx Stakes. If it is run, there's plenty of weather to watch up there. Joining us, as always, James Lamb, Marcus Bazzano. Boys, how pumped are you?
Very pumped. Looking forward to moving on from Wednesday at Sandown, which was a bloodbath.
Yeah,
I don't know if you're on
tough.
Butternut Princess, but that was an absolute
ran
car.
fourth.
That was a car crash. That was one of the worst beats of the year so far.
Tough day at the office. How you been travelling, Marcus?
No, I'm very excited for this week.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's a decent field, which we'll get to. But, yeah, expect a very heavy 10, I reckon.
Yeah, bringing back the Self Trumpeters Award. That was a great success.
We are
Who's
indeed.
in your line of fire at the moment?
We've got a few names to start. We're tightening it up this season, so we're going a 3-2-1, like the Brown though. So we're going to keep it short and sharp. For those unfamiliar with the segment, we'll be keeping a close eye on punters who blow their own bugle. So really get around themselves, enjoy their own work, and point out things that they've done well. So
Well, the racing industry's full of people like that,
it is
isn't it?
full of self-trumpeters.
Be sure to flood the inboxes, emails, comments, even
Yes.
send them in carrier pigeons. Let's
Dob
get
your
it.
mates in.
Dobbing
Do
the
it.
self-trumpeters. So SEN's Miles Fitzner won it last year. Andrew Hawkins, the Hawk, he's won it before. Snowy Clark is always thereabouts as well. So we'll get into the first votes for the new season. 1 vote for Journo Matt Stewart, the ex-RSN one, not the racing.com presenter. It's a bit confusing at times, but he was involved in a bit of a barney with trainer Manny Galagotis during the week. Everyone loves a good Twitter spat, and this was a good one. They were arguing about jumps racing in Victoria. I think Matt got the points in the stoush, but this was a good trumpet from him in amongst all the back and forth. So he said, name a journo who has done more to celebrate the career of jumps hero Steve Pateman and the efforts of Simons, McGregor, Lucas, etc. to resurrect jumps and try to save Oakbank than me. Just got around himself with a good one there. 2 votes, Joel West, not to be confused with John West Jr. This is Joel. Tweeted after the first at Warwick Farm yesterday. Thanks for drifting Burma Star bookies. First proper bet I've had in a long time. Not backable at $1.45, but as soon as it hit $2, the savings went on. Hashtag cheers, hashtag thanks bookies, hashtag racing. So, yeah, the savings went on. Gamble responsibly for those having a punt this weekend.
I reckon the hashtag is worse there than the actual tweet.
Thanks bookies. Yeah, not bad. 3 votes. Big name to get the first 3 of the season. Jockey Nash Rawiller. So he rode Zuripper to victory at Warwick Farm yesterday, and Sky Racing posted the video of the concluding stages with the caption, "A perfect Nash Rawiller ride sees Zuripper take out the last at Warwick Farm." Nash later replied with just a link.
God.
No caption, no comments, no emojis, just a link. So you click on the link and it takes you to the steward's vision of the whole race. So it's basically just Nash saying, here's 75 seconds of my best work. Enjoy. So he gets the 3 votes this week. Nash, I like just the cold link, nothing else. Just have at it, punters.
If you're taking people elsewhere on a link, then that's definitely a
it wasn't
self-trumpet.
a thanks Sky. Here's the full
It was
race.
a sly
just
sort of
the
self-trumpet,
link.
wasn't
it? Nice. So he gets the 3 this week. And we'll have the leaderboard up as we go along. But yeah, Nash out to an early lead.
I like that. There was a good bit of banter going around as well about a fake fight between Brad Davidson and Joseph Pride.
Yeah, I did see
which
that.
isn't going to occur, but I think Joseph Pride Racing sent a tweet saying something like, we'll send him a get well soon card to the hospital after.
Yeah, and he said that he'll pay for the rehab or something, which is a fair comment. I was going to put that in the trumpeting, but I thought it's a fair comment. Joe would absolutely federate it. So,
yeah, I think so. No, good first round. Make sure you send them in because that's going to be a great segment. All right, so Group 1 racing up in Sydney. It's finally here for the spring. The Winx Stakes has got a lot of really good horses first up coming back, but the weather is the big watch here because it's going to be raining today, tomorrow, all day Saturday. If we can get through the meet, it'll be fantastic, but
it's a big if.
Yeah, it is a big if, isn't it?
We put a poll up on our Twitter account this morning and most of the votes were for no, it will not go ahead, but We'll see.
Yep.
So
It'll
I
still
think-
run Monday if it gets called off.
Yeah.
It'll still run Monday. So
I mean, I think regardless, you need to be looking for fit mudders, basically.
Yep.
So I'm inclined to take on Via Sustina first up. Don't particularly like barrier 1 for her either, possibly back on the fence. Obviously, she's the best horse in the country,
No doubt.
but she's not going to be fully wound up for this. So I'm gravitating towards horses that are going to be probably up on the speed, fit, and that handle the wet. So for me, I don't mind Gringotts around the $5 mark as we record.
yeah, well, there's 4 horses that have never run on a heavy deck. There's 4 that have never placed on a heavy deck, including horses like Fangirl and Lindemann and horses like that. So the market's a funny one. Obviously, Via Sustina has to start a short price favourite because she's a superstar, but it'd be poison to be backing
She's
her
actually
first
been
up at
well
that
back
price.
as well, which is
Yeah.
surprising. I thought she would have drifted out, but the money's come for her.
Vulnerable first up, you'd think, just like last preparation.
Yeah, beaten over this trip last prep first up.
I think we might see some potential upsets on Saturday, and that's why I've lent towards War Eternal. Not up to the class of some of these horses, but I remember back to Shelby 66 when you can beat good horses on heavy 10s, right?
Yep.
And this horse is rock hard fit, loves the 1400 metres, won last start, and is a bit of a heavy track specialist. So $26 to win and $5 the place, not the worst.
Yeah, Robusto's the other one at big odds that I think you could
Yep.
make a case for. He's one who's very fit. He's raced for the last sort of couple of months and up on the speed, which is a good combo given many of these have bigger fish to fry. Robusto, he's probably, if he's going to pinch one, this would be the race because I can't see him being a factor later in the spring.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's take our eyes across to Mooney Valley because we've got the listed Carlyon stakes, and there's been a really well-backed Hayes runner in Oak Hill who's going to jump at $2.40 favourite. But this is quite a nice sprint race as well, isn't it?
It is, yeah. They'll go quick early. I mean, Golden Boom is fast, but he won't be able to cross Midwest. There aren't too many horses quicker than Midwest over the first 100. So I think they'll absolutely burn along in this. And the horse you mentioned, Oak Hill, smashed him over this route last start. It's hard to tip against him. I mean, he's won 4 from 5 at the Valley. The one miss was a second. It seems to be getting better with each start. So that's the way I'm going, provided that it's not a leader's paradise, because I think the rail is out maybe 5 metres on Saturday. So that would be my only query. But yeah, Oak Hill for me, I think gets the job done again. And Mornington Glory is probably one that you could save on. Big flop last time, but that was his first flop at the Valley. Probably ridden a bit too aggressive. I think he gets the 1-1 here, so he might be worth a saver.
I'll lean towards Barrakill here. It's unbeaten at Mooney Valley. Went past Mornington Glory like it was nailed to the ground there last time we saw it at the Valley. First up, $4.60, bit of a drifter, but it's come back from that suspensory issue. It's a very lightly raced horse.
The only thing is he's never raced over 1,000. And it's going to be a fast.
Well, why is that?
Not sure.
Yeah,
I'm not
it's
sure
a
why.
funny one. Sort of 1,200 metres specialist, but 1,000 metres, if it can jump from barrier 1.
Yeah, that's the big thing where he ends up. He could end up, if he's 3 back on the fence, it's going to be hard to get out of the coffin. But yeah, if he can somehow end up either behind the leader or 1 off the fence, he's going to be hard to beat. But yeah, map-wise, I had him sort of 3 back on the fence searching for runs, which is not where you want to be at the Valley over 1,000.
Marcus, you like anything in the Winx or?
Well, in the Winx, I was talking about Via Sustina, and obviously if it was dry, you're on a soft track, she can crip walk over the line and get through first. But you mentioned dry tracks. Look, like Lindemann and Fangirl, they had some good competition with a couple of races back to back there. So look, I'm going to steer clear of those. I'm going to go back with Lammy on the Winx.
Yeah, beautiful. All right. And black bookers, or as I like to call them, brown bookers. When we like one, I put them in the brown book. But we're bringing that segment back as well, and it's always good to follow ones that have been a little bit unlucky in running.
Yeah, we're going to add a horse or add horses each week and maybe take a few out if they don't quite meet our expectations. So we might set it up so it's a bit like a football team, Brownie.
Okay.
And I'm going to add a horse in there that'll go straight into the back pocket. It's unfashionable, but I think it could get the job done for us in a lower benchmark race. It's not going to be a sprint contender, but the horse is called She's Pretty Rich, and it was a diabolical watch at Caulfield last start. Sent out at 50 to 1 and went to the line under a hold. So I think its last two starts read 11th of 15 and 10th of 12 or 8th of 12. So I think it could go up big odds next start. So when it does go to a benchmark 74 or 78, we might just be able to launch when the price goes up because it had a lot to offer, never got a crack at them. And I think the bookies might miss it. So she's pretty rich as the first one in the Black Book team, back pocket.
What are the rules around the Black Book? Can you Black Book one that has won a race last start? Because I don't like when you do that because everyone can see that.
Yeah, no, we want to be sort of going outside the obvious there. Yeah. Maybe if it won a lower race somewhere in the country and we think that it can measure up in town, that might be an exception. But yeah, we don't want to be black booking horses like Via Sistina, for example.
I don't mind that. It's like on the old school form guide in the back pocket. That's why you put him in the back pocket there. And she's pretty rich. It's good omen.
All right, boys, the other two races that we want to have a look at are race 7 and race 9 at Randwick. Let's start with race 7, which is the Group 3 for the fillies and mares, and the return of one of the stars of the spring in Autumn Glow. $1.95, Manals, $6.50 on the second line of betting. Then you got the last start winner, Cigar Flick, $8, and Amina, $8.50. Outside of the favourite, pretty open race, Slammy.
Yeah, I think it is. Waller did have Lazura in this race as well. Yep. He scratched her to run in race 9. J-Mac booked for Lazura and Autumn Glow, so he separated his two horses there. But yeah, obviously the biggest query with Autumn Glow is whether she handles the track. Handled a heavy 9 in a recent trial and drawn to be off the inside, which I think is a big positive. So,
but if you're Waller, do you even risk running Autumn Glow on a track like this?
I would never tell Waller what to do. I think he knows a little bit more than me. He obviously, if he does run her, he's obviously very confident that she's going to handle it. He wouldn't be rolling the dice on a horse that's probably the most hyped horse in the country, you'd have to say, at the moment.
No doubt about that. I think she's in for a massive spring and had her issues as well too with some injuries.
Yeah, and has been pretty well played and patiently placed, like 4 from 4, but hasn't really taken on any of the big guns at this stage. So this spring, hopefully we do see her measure up in the big Group 1s. But yeah, I think she's a deserving short price favourite. But if there is a blowout, Shohisha, probably butchered that pronunciation, $26, just a genuine mudlark. Went from 1,100 to a mile last prep. That's a big leap, 500 metres in one start, and one on a heavy 9. So she swims. She might be the blowout at 26. The others I all have queries in the wet. And I think I know Marcus has a liking for certain names, and Gangster Granny stands out in this. I don't know what the story is there, but yeah, it's a likeable name.
Look, I'm probably going to have a 2 play here, which I don't usually do. Obviously, Autumn Glow is the absolute class in this race, but at $1.95, I couldn't take that rationally. And Cigar Flick's the one that got through the heavy going last start, has got a bit of a fitness edge on some of these. So $8 looks like a reasonably nice each way price.
Plummets in weight too, 58 down to 53. So it's one that you could definitely make a case for.
So another interesting race. Chris Waller's going to have some headaches, I think, leading up until jump time on Saturday with some of his stars because he's got a really strong hand. And then race number 9, which there was some dual acceptances as well. Autumn Glow was listed to run in this one as well, but clearly going to race in race number 7. This is the Group 3 over the 1,200 metres and a little bit more of an open affair. General Salute, $4. Lazura, as you mentioned previously, $6.50. Just Feeling Lucky, $7. And then Yellow Brick with the top weight. It's going to be tough on a heavy deck to carry the 60 kilos, $8.50.
Yep. Yeah, when I was looking at this race, there's no speed in this race whatsoever. So I think Lazura, not naturally a leader, but I think J-Mac will go forward here and potentially look to dictate the race from outside the leader. The only other one I have that's sort of up on the speed is With Your Blessing. I mean, we've seen Yellow Brick race on pace in the past, but it was off the speed in the Stradbroke, and that was the best run of its career by a mile. That was one out of the box. So maybe he's better ridden quite, but no, I was quite keen on Lazura here at sort of upwards of $6. Handles the wet. First up record is good. J-Mac first time, ticks a few boxes. The only one it doesn't tick is its Randwick record, 6 starts, no wins and just 2 minor placings. So that's the query, but That's the way I'm going here.
Yeah, it's going to be one of those days. If you can go wide and find the winner, you're going to make a lot of profit. Espionage for the Waterhouse Bot team, $10. Another one that's going to carry the 53 kilos. It dominated a heavy track as a 2-year-old. Now that's a couple of years ago now, but its first up record's okay, and a couple of soft trials leading into Saturday, I think could be one there as well.
Yeah, barrier 1 scares me by that stage of the day. It might be a genuine swamp there,
right off the fence,
you'd want to be getting wider from there. But could make a case. Corniche has won. It won on a heavy 10 recently, so it's another one that swims.
Yeah, beautiful. All right, well, hopefully there's a couple of winners there at a bit of a price. Marcus, you've had a bit of a look towards spring. What are some of the things you're looking forward to?
I haven't prepared some questions for you, boys. So this is straight off the cuff as well. So I want some genuine answers here.
Yeah.
And the first one to kick us off, looking ahead to spring, if you could win one race over spring as an owner, but you don't get the prize money, just all the glory, what race are you picking?
So I'm a little bit weird like this because a lot of people like dream of winning the Melbourne Cup or one of the big staying races, but I've always been a sprinter. So I love the Manicato.
You've already won a Group 1 sprint, haven't you?
I certainly did. The Galaxy up there on Golden Slipper Day with Sweet Idea. But for some reason I like the sprint races. So Manicato or the Darley Sprint, I think
where would you finish in a grand final sprint if you had to?
I ran in a few. Yeah. There's probably some old vision of me pulling up lame at about I got out of the blocks quick. I'm one of those horses that bolts to the front, but just can't run out 100 metres.
First 5 to 10 metres.
Do you have a decent handicap?
It was off scratch, but I think I ended up running about 5th or 6th. So I'm no good late. But sprinting for me. What about you, Lammy?
Cox Plate, always been a massive fan of the Cox Plate. And this is the last year that they're going to be running it at the Valley with the famous short straight before the big redevelopment, and we'll go back to having a 300 and something metre straight at the Valley. So it'll probably lose a little bit of its luster, but this year I think it's going to be an amazing Cox Plate, especially with Via Sistina and whether she can go back to back or whether one of these great 4-year-olds steps up. So that's the race I'm looking forward to the most.
But in saying that, if the prize money was a factor, would you obviously be going for the Everest? Would that change if the prize money was a factor? Just a yes or a no?
Yes.
Money's always been irrelevant to me.
Lammy, on different races, we've talked about, obviously, Brandy, you like the sprint races. Do you have a preference on punting on sprint races, middle races, long distance?
I would say sprints or middle distance. I think the 2,400 metre races in Australia they're a bit of a raffle because you have a lot of imported gallopers. They seem to take turns. You only have to look at those midweek races at Sandown.
Yeah.
They take turns every second week. So I think they're the hardest races to do form because the tempo is more unpredictable as well. Sometimes they crawl, sometimes they go hard early. So I think the sprints where you get a more genuine speed and it's a bit sort of easier to line up sectional times and all that sort of stuff, that would be the way I would be leaning.
Oof. Do you know what I like betting on? And there's probably not a punter in Australia that will say this, but the synthetic through winter.
The synthetic. I thought you were going to be able to say the dogs then. I was like,
Pakenham or Ballarat synthetic on a Monday.
The Ballarat synth.
Yeah.
A lot of the local trainers
they go well.
Always hard to beat there. So there's a few that you can put a line through, I think, on the Ballarat synth.
And you find one third up, sort of stepping up to the 1,400 or a mile, and local trainers.
I'll go the cricket related there. It's even easier to hit someone off the park in a synthetic as well than a turf. But if you had to bet on obviously J-Mac's going to be on some of the best horses in the country over spring. If you had a bet on every J-Mac ride or Waller runner in every race, which are you picking?
Oh, good question. Probably Waller runner because he's usually got 3 or 4 in the same race.
He's also got 8 in the Rally Mile today, right. I think.
Well, let's say if you had your pick of one Waller runner in each race, we'll make it a little bit fair on J-Mac there.
J-Mac.
J-Mac.
Yeah, I mean, he's obviously the best rider in the country, but copying the J-Mac tax, all these runners
unders
start shorter than perhaps they should on form. You take a bit of a hit there with the price, but I guess that's what you pay for.
What about an ownership stake in any horse that's not named Via Sistina or Autumn Glow?
Oh, Nadal.
Nadal? Ooh.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a superstar.
Interesting. I'll go with Lady Shenandoah.
Yeah, nice.
Oleana, I think, wins the Caulfield Cup, so she's the other one. I'll bid each way there.
I love it. And finally, a bit more of a fun one. Which spring race day is your deal breaker that you wouldn't skip your best mate's wedding for, even if you're on the bridal party?
Caulfield Guineas. It's 4 Group 1s. It's the start, really, of the big spring events, and it's always a cracking day there. It's not too busy.
Yeah.
I like the night races at the Valley, so probably Manicato night is one I enjoy.
Yeah, very nice. Champions Day is also obviously a good one as well, so that's probably be my pick. So
I'm more of a picnic operator, BYO.
Manicato's always the night before the AFL Grand Final, so that means
it's a big weekend.
You're preparing yourself for a real doubleheader, aren't you?
Yeah.
Well,
I can't do that at my age anymore.
You try that.
Well, we talked about the Black Book earlier. What's one horse that you're looking forward to this spring that you might that's sort of underrated, that's under the radar that you might chuck into the Black Book?
Well, I've been saying this for weeks now, but it's that French import New Look that we saw at Caulfield probably about 3 weeks ago now, and I think it's going to be racing next Saturday. So, yeah, 1,600 first up. Jamie Carr went back and just hit the line really nicely, but I think over a little bit further, 1,800 to 2,000 is going to be its pet trip, and that's one that I'm really looking forward to seeing.
Lemmy?
Exit goes around at the Valley this Saturday. I think we should be backing her for the 1,000 guineas before she runs on Saturday. She's $26 at the moment. I think if she wins on Saturday, she won't be $26 for the guineas because she's not a sprinter, whereas plenty of the horses at the top of the 1,000 guineas market, they've been good over sprint trips, but they're question marks at a mile. I think this is a genuine miler. So she's one I think hopefully runs well on Saturday and the $26 is overs. If she stinks it up, she'll probably drift out to 51 or won't even go there. But we'll see how we go on Saturday.
Beautiful. All right, well, let's a quick look at Mooney Valley and Randwick. Fingers crossed that those, well, certainly up in Sydney, the rain stays away as much as possible and we can get a result up there. Best bets time. Lammy, we'll start with you. You've got $100.
Yeah.
How are you going to spend it?
I've gone a little bit complicated for the first show. Poor old Brody.
Like you'll put Brody behind the camera. He's got a job in for it.
I've confused the hell out of him here. I've gone with a parlay, 2-3. So 3 horses.
Okay.
The doubles and the treble.
Yeah.
So you'll know what I'm talking about. So I've got race 2, number 6, Jenny Vermoose. These are all at the Valley. I'm steering away from Sydney. We might not even race. So we'll go to the Valley. Jenny Vermoose, Exit in race 3, and Oak Hill in the feature. I'll spend $80 on that parlay. And then 10 each way on Red Hot Nick in the last race. So Valley Specialist, 6 starts at the Valley, 3 wins and 2 placings, and led all the way there last start. Goes up in weight, but drawn to get a soft lead again. So if we're doing our nuts and it comes down to the last race on the day, at least we'll get a profit if Nick gets up for us.
Beautiful. Marcus?
Well, I don't want to be relying on the last race of the day, but I don't have $100 to bet with, but I'm going to do some omen bets. You know, I love my omen bets. So, and you boys both know that I've just recently moved. So, am I crazy? I feel like this is a bit of an omen. Randwick Race 6 changed my address at $41. So, I'll be keeping a little keen eye on that. So, might 41. Not go for a win.
Where is your new address? Just for the punters, that if it doesn't win, they can come and...
I'm staying at Brownie's house for the foreseeable future, so I'll leave him to drop the address. And lastly, I've got another one for you, and this is more of a favourite one because I was watching The Hangover last night.
Yeah.
And on Saturday, Eagle Farm, race 6, we've got Galifianakis, and obviously Zach Galifianakis is the actor. Obviously loved it, and the gelding in the morning with a genuine chance, I think. So might be a bit short and stocky, but my God, I reckon he can move in a night out, especially if
is Zach paying on Saturday?
That is $7.50. So I think if you slip it a few roofies, it might fly like they do in The Hangover.
And this show reminds me a little bit of in between two ferns, you know. So
Yeah, that's good.
There
I like
you go.
it. Same sort of setup, isn't it, with this couch? That's good. What
all
about
right,
you, Brownie?
With my $100, I'm going up to Eagle Farm as well. Race 4, number 6, Without Parallel. This is a Maddie Dunn runner who's unbeaten. She's 4 from 4 and absolutely bolted in the highway last start. So that was 3 weeks ago at the Valley. Drawn a little bit wide, but will hunt forward, either lead or sit outside leader. And I think will remain unbeaten. So $2.60, having my whole $100 stake on that.
Keeping it simple, unlike me.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah, I'm confused with your
I'm going
parlays.
for the glory, though. I want to build a bank early,
Yeah.
and I've got a bit of a buffer.
No, 100%. All right, well, thanks for tuning in. That's Hold All Tickets for this week. We'll see you next week. Hopefully we found you plenty of winners.
Imagine what you could be buying instead. For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.